All right, welcome back, and another great week to have Miss Debbie Cox-DeNova with us, and we're talking about a lot of different things on Good Vibes. And this week, I did not choose the topic. Debbie did. And I say that because tonight we're going to talk about decoding the female brain.
Decoding the female brain.
So I don't know how you came up with that topic, but I'm all ears at this point, okay?
I absolutely love researching this topic. And it's not, by the way, this is a topic not just for men, but for women too, because I talk to just as many women who are like, what the heck is going on with me? Like, why do I behave this way? So first and foremost, it's important to know that it's tough being human, right? We've talked about this before. We've got these two parts that are always kind of going back and forth between it. And there's the part of us that's more evolved, right? The part of us that can make wise decisions and be rational. And then there's a primal part, and the primal part usually overrides the other part if you're not intentional, right? Mm-hmm. So I want you to think about, a lot of men will ask, like, how do I decode? Like, tell me what does a woman want, right? And if you ask a woman, sometimes she doesn't even know the answer to that question. Well, I want to share some research that might shed some light on it, and also to help a man be motivated to help her get what she wants, so of course he can also get what he wants. And we're not just talking about, I mean, you could be in a marriage, you could be, dating, you could be whatever. We have to communicate with each other, and we so often get it wrong.
So Debbie, I am listening.
So at the end of the day, I want you to think about this primal part, okay? So we're going to keep going back to thinking about the way a woman is hardwired primally. So yes, we're evolved, we're in these modern worlds, and things have changed societally, but on a primitive level, biologically, we're still hardwired for those caveman times. So I really want you to keep thinking back to this. And so at the end of the day, what a woman wants, and we talked about this before, it's the same thing that you want in other relationships. You want to be seen, and you want to be satisfied, and you want to be secure. And so a big part of what a woman is looking for, specifically when it comes to, and I'm going to stick with heterosexual relationships just because the research is more, that I've looked at is more about that, okay? Certainly this conversation can play into all types of relationships, but between a man and a woman, what a woman is looking for, according to research, is to feel safe. Okay, so a woman who feels safe, she's more productive, she is happier, she's more successful, she gets aroused more easily in the bedroom. I know that's a conversation that matters to a lot of men.
That's a whole nother series, okay?
It's a whole other series. Yeah. So if you can make a woman feel safe, and this is really important because a man will hear, well, okay, I can provide safety, and he thinks very analytically, right? Like, okay, we have a security system, and I provide, food and a shelter, so right. You're safe, right? But we're talking about perceived safety from a primal perspective from a woman. It's very, very different. So for example, you might be yelling at the computer because it's not working, properly. And the woman gets reactive, right? And starts to get upset with the man for yelling at the computer, which has nothing to do with her. Of course, factually, has she ever been hit? No, maybe not, right? But for whatever reason, it activates that primal aspect, because when a man yells, as the biologically, physically weaker sex, it activates something of insecurity in her. So we can talk about security from a lot of different perspectives. Yes, there's like financial security. So when a woman feels like she is not going to be okay, to be able to care for herself from a primal level, or her children, it activates that primal part. And in both men and women, when we are stressed out and we feel insecure and not safe, it brings out the worst in us. So for women, we've talked about this before, women have a larger anterior right parietal lobe, okay? So we're hardwired for emotions like connectivity, relationships. This is how we de-stress. When we connect with other human beings, we produce estrogen and we produce oxytocin, the love hormone, right? A man has double the size of the left anterior parietal lobe, and so he's about logic. He needs solutions, right? He wants the A, B, C. Tell me how to solve these problems. So again, going back to our original conversation, it's really important for a man to think about this as a problem to solve for women, because women are twice as stressed out in this modern day as men, and 4 times as stressed out at home because of the way that we're wired. So if
seen, satisfied, and secure, the 3 S's.
Yes, absolutely. And so what you want, there's a great video. I would love for you guys to go look this up if you haven't seen it already. It's called It's Not About the Nail. Okay, so you have a man and a woman, and it opens up with a woman complaining about this ache in her head, right? It's a throbbing ache, and it's just everywhere she goes. And the man is listening to her, and they pan out, and she's got a nail right in the middle of her forehead. And so, of course, he wants to suggest, why don't you remove the nail? It's not about the nail, she says, right? And she continues to emote and talk about this. All my sweaters are torn. And he's looking at her like, remove the nail, right? But the woman needs to express and connect. She already has all of the ability to solve her own problems, but the stress that's within her needs to come out through the connectivity of listening. And if a man doesn't know that, if he doesn't remember that, then he will get extremely frustrated because he can't solve the problem, and men are about those problem-solving things. And biologically, he will actually produce a hormone, an enzyme called aromatase, which will switch his testosterone to estrogen.
And the whole time you were talking, I was thinking validation.
Validation, yes. And this is part of the issue. Part of the issue is that women don't directly ask for what they need and what they want. Okay, this is a societal thing.
Why not?
We are taught to go around about, right? So men can be assertive. They can go directly for what they want, and they're problem solvers, right? Women, when we connect emotionally with each other, we understand the suggestions that are being made and what's needed. Okay, so we're taught to kind of softly go around, and that's part of the issue, because she expects you to, like, you should know. You should know me. You should know the signs and that I need something
Y'all are
right now.
tiptoeing through the tulips.
Tiptoeing through the tulips, and the problem is both that she doesn't ask for what she wants, but when she does, oftentimes the man invalidates her. So, for example, if she says, "You hurt my feelings," so a man will take that and say, well, wait, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because you're very factual. It doesn't make any sense that I hurt your feelings when I didn't intend to. I didn't physically harm you. So, the best I can offer you is, I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt, which is not the same thing from a woman's perspective.
You got me red roses when you know I love yellow roses, and I hate red roses. And you go, well, it was the thought that kept, no, you didn't hear me last time I said it.
And by the way, for just everybody that's at home, if you want to look more into this is research from John Gray and also the work of Alison Armstrong. Super, super interesting. So one of the biggest ways that this plays out is when a man's inability or unwillingness to say, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. And again, this is a very distinct thing from I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt, right? Which is something that will probably activate her even more. I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. And for a woman, because respect is tied, and we can get into this conversation at another time, but respect is tied in primarily for a man's survival, right? How many times can I fail before the people that I rely on to take me on the hunts stop inviting me to the hunts? It's a survival thing, right? So if she disrespects him, oftentimes she's reluctant to go, wait, I didn't intend to, she's checking her feelings, because women are all about their feelings. I didn't intend to disrespect you, therefore I'm not apologizing for disrespecting you, because I didn't, right? So if both can understand that for a woman it's really, really important for her to feel safe and to feel loved, and for a man it's really important to feel respected, right? And that he is actually needed. That raises his testosterone, and a man has about 30 times the amount of testosterone as women. Testosterone for men is a stress-reducing thing, right? And you can actually end up depleting your testosterone through the day, which is why at the end of the day, a man will sit in a safe and secure place and do nothing. His brain waves will actually go. So he could be watching TV, watching a football game. He could be, what you do is you climb on your bobcat, right? Video games. What women need to understand about men, not to go completely off the topic, is that during that time, you're restoring testosterone. You can actually measure the testosterone levels of a man. They're high in the morning. By the end, they're depleted, and they rise as you do nothing in a secure place. It's kind of like being in that man cave. So it's really important for men to do that and to know that if they don't, their stress levels will go up, and low testosterone is a marker for all sorts of things like depression, prostate cancer, heart disease, all sorts of things.
So many people that have told me over the years they got in arguments. Well, why? Well, when I got home, the wife or the girlfriend says, well, tell me about your day.
Yes.
And the husband goes, I do not want to talk about my day.
Exactly.
I've already had my day. I don't want to talk about it. And the wife's going, no, I want to hear all about your day.
Exactly, because that's how she lowers her own stress, right? And so what's great is open communications and understanding how we're differently hardwired so that women can give the man his time to go into his cape, restore his testosterone, and then he can understand that by noticing the little things and doing sweet things for her. One of the things that women report as the biggest turn on, for example, experience of strength and containment. Like if a man is able to make her feel protected and contained, she's safe to open up and be in her femininity, right? Mm-hmm. So things like putting his hand on her back as they cross the street are things that women report as making her feel more romantically inclined to him. Mm-hmm. And so if a man can understand that once his testosterone is restored, that the goal is to help her reduce her stress as well. And the way that she does that is through connectivity. For women, being able to understand that connecting with your girlfriends might be a better thing to do if you have a lot of things to say, might be a good thing. But for a man, these little hits, these little things, these sweet things, understanding that every day it resets. So you do a little something sweet every day, and you get a point for each thing that you do. And she gets a hit of estrogen and oxytocin, and she feels her stress reduced, and then she feels
I can promise
connected.
you after this show, guys will be walking their wives and girlfriends across the street with 2 hands on their back. They're going to make sure they feel secure.
Which is a beautiful thing. I love
It
that.
is. This is great stuff. So, man, you got some good stuff.
I love it. I love research.
You read a lot about this?
I do. I'm a geek
And you
about
study
it.
people, I know that.
I love studying people. I feel like this experience of being human is very interesting and strange. It's difficult, but I feel like, cracking the code is fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Debbie, great. And we'll see you next week for, I'm sure, some more interesting topics. So, guys, if you're watching this show tonight, make sure when you walk your woman across the street, put that hand on the back, make them feel secure. I'm listening to Debbie here. She makes some good stuff, some good points, and we'll be back next week with more good vibes.